Good afternoon from Yami TV. Wishing you all well today, sending loads of love as usual. The questions I'm answering today, in particular, about alleged serial killers, and some of the comments that you come up, the questions that come my way. There's an easy explanation, as far as I'm concerned, for some of those things that you say. You asked me about Robert Maudsley, right, over a 40-year period when I was younger. One conversation, yeah. Right, Robert Maudsley, let's get this right. You're saying, well, if that was the case, Yami, if he did distaste them, why that particular kind of person with the abuse and trauma he suffered as a child, why did he turn into a rent boy? Right, simple, right, as far as I'm concerned. My opinion, of course, clinically, Freud, Jung, Uncle Yami, did it sit straight and proper for you. If you suffered that, he suffered everything that he suffered as a boy. Not his fault. Right. You go through certain stages of development during your age and a cycle of change. You become a rent boy. First of all, you do that. You think that's the right way to behave. It's what you were taught about yourself, that you're to be a victim in some kind of way, to take it off that one and this one, and like in the way that it's being said. But Uncle Yami says those are the stages. So then he hates himself for becoming that rent boy. So then you go for a stage after that, and then you say, well, hold on a minute, I don't like how I feel about myself. And then you remember it was those experiences that made you think like that about yourself. Very, very simple. So then he questions the conflict that goes inside of him, you know, with the thoughts about himself and those feelings and those, you know, sense of warped thinking. You know, when it stems out of control, he then changes. He says, nah, I blame you lot now because I don't like what I've become. Then the stages develop. You end up with a life sentence, you give up, you haven't come to terms with what happened to you, but you cross the line of, right, I'm after you lot. Whoever it is, you go to prison, allegedly, eat people, bite people, stab people. The first blow of those fights, the damage has already been done. They don't stand a chance. He's not giving you no chance. But those are a particular type of persons with that kind of history. So I believe, unless you lot are going to tell me something different, again, Uncle Yemi tells you he ain't read up on it all. But, so he reaches that stage. So he says, oh, I feel that bad about myself. I crossed the line and I'm going to kill a lot of you. You of a particular kind of person. So his risk is not to people like you and to people like me, and he can have normal conversations to normal people about sport and interact and communicate. He likes to be alone, left with the damage and trauma that he can deal with, you know, in that silent way, away from everybody else, because he is a danger to a particular type of person. That's it. You see what I mean? So that's his risk. The rest of his personnel, like his nephew rightly says, is not the same thing. He's not going to jump on a woman. He's not going to go and attack somebody, a little kid. He's not going to do that. His mind is programmed. So believe in me, when those crimes happen in prison with Robert Maudsley, he has the intelligence to find out what you're in it for. How does he do that? Clever geezer. If you ask me, psycho, cross the edge, whatever. I'm not the one that diagnosed him, but he seems to find out who you are and what you did, and he's believing you're one of those to blame for his past. And he goes over the top. So forever and a day, it has to be a risk, because when you cross that line to do crimes in the way allegedly that it's been told that you do them, is there any way back? No. All the medication in the world, it can't treat you. I can tell you today, that he has three voices. We all do, I suppose, in some ways, because we were all little once. You can speak in a little boy's voice. You can speak in so many different voices, right? And then you get that the warped one late in the evening where you go, you turn into a monster. I used to program myself. I knew that was a softie. I knew that if I pushed certain things in me, I get dark. I couldn't get like that naturally. But him, different kind of thing. Now with Nicholas Vernage, having watched him from Aylesbury, from that early bit, you was already half gone by that stage. I had a couple of runners with you. You took a shine to me, you smiled at me, blah, blah, blah. But what I forgot to tell you is in 88, when he got nicked, 87, 88, for a short period in Scrubs, when I passed through, he came through into the visits area and he looked at me and I said, what are you saying, Nicholas? Remembering him from Aylesbury. because he used to talk, say hello, that kind of stuff. I knew that he was seriously violent. I knew he was a bit unhinged. I knew that you had a lot of brothers, Nicholas. I don't know what happened to you when you was a kid. But the first thing he said to me, he looked at me and went, yeah, Sammy. He recognised me straight away. This is him to me. Sammy, there was a lot of blood, you know. I thought, oh, God. And that's it. You've just been nicked for 3-4 murders or whatever. And that's the first thing you say to me. And then you go through the visits. You got an E-man thing on, overall with an E-list thing. And then I saw him down the healthcare. It took loads to restrain him, boy. And I was thinking to myself, fucking how sad, you know, that you could reach that level, Nicholas, of where whatever it is, loss, love, rejection, the past, parenting, all those kind of things come into play. But the main thing is I point today at, what happened to you that makes you, when you was younger, makes you go over the edge in later life, where you just become a cold-hearted, proper killer. All right, he ends up in a mental hospital, Broadmoor, whatever, where he's going to be detained indefinitely forever. But how come Robert Maudsley hasn't? Why? Ask yourself that. Why aren't you in Broadmoor? Why aren't you in Rampton? I think you might have gone to those places at some stage, but for all we know now, you're in a CSU, the deepest part of CSU, isolated on your own, because you like your own peace and quiet. So why is it the establishment are saying that? Because I'll tell you why. Your risk is only towards one set of people. Could be wrong. Uncle Yami has to tell you that. The same thing with Colin Island, whatever his name is, with gays, right? Why does he pick a particular type to do these things to? You see what I mean? There's no others. You see what I mean? So what happened to you that sends you over the edge that way there? It's the blame game, isn't it? Where you step across that line, where you lose that soul of yours, and you are gonna be really, really, really deadly and clinical, and you don't care what happens. You see what I mean? That means you know. I'm saying to you, basically, it's the development over the years. So you might have been through that stage as thing where you do, but those are the ingredients that turn you into the next bit. You see what I mean? That's what I'm saying to you. With all these serial killers that I've met over the years, there is just something in the end that just says kill, 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 kill. All of them, they look for signs. In those vernage, like his first thing would always be attack. You know what I mean? With Robert Maudsley, Uncle Yami, from what he knows and what he hears, you're not really like that with everybody else. So it's different strokes for different folks, I believe, and that's my reasoning behind those questions. So that's it for that. I'm going to settle down in a minute and do some more work, but just answering a few of those questions. All right.